Thanks for joining another episode of the Immigrant Podcast. We're brought to you by Nothing But Net International. I'm your boy, Nikolai Hill. Of course, you can see the logo. Of course, we're going to give you an opportunity down the road to purchase exclusive immigrant apparel, apparel gear down the road if you so see fit. We wanted to touch on a few things today. Like recently, like I've said, a lot of you know that I've migrated a little bit west of the United States of America. And there's one thing I notice about here is that pretty much half the population is bilingual. And if you're not speaking another language when you're coming into the situation, that means when you're coming into the country from a lot of Latin American countries, people from Africa, and to be honest, a lot from Eastern Europe as well. We find right here in Las Vegas, in the western part of this country. So we have a lot of people here that are bilingual. And one of the prerequisites that I noticed when I was going through that whole job process that I no longer have to go through, very fortunately, was the fact that a lot of employers ask for if you're bilingual. And that was an asset. And doing some research after that, I found out that you have a 20% higher possibility to be hired if you're bilingual, and that's overall in the entire country. In this specific city, it's a 54% better chance you have of being hired if you're bilingual, because pretty much a half of the population is, of course, Hispanic or a slightly African population down here as well. Got lots of Salvadorians, lots of Mexicans, as you would expect in this region. And for our customers in that customer service environment, when you're in the sales and customer service environment, speaking, if you half of your customers, half of your clients are non-English speakers, some non-English speakers at all, but half of those are their first language is not Spanish, is not English, then it's smart to make the decision to hire bilingual people who who can not only speak English but can branch off into Spanish and in some cases other languages as well. It's just something that's happening in America. I've seen videos lately where people are shouting at Uber drivers for not speaking English, for people, of course, generally, and this has been a history of America, telling people to go back home whether they don't look like them or fluently speak the language that's encompassed the United States of America for the last 4 or 5 centuries, which is English. But there's a changing of the guard. States like Florida, states like Texas, I tell you, states like California, I'm going to guarantee you that, and definitely a state like the state of Nevada and New Mexico, we're branching off into where those states are actually heavily populated with a Hispanic, with the Hispanic people, with a Hispanic culture. And if not in the case of, say, Florida, which is now officially first language is Spanish, California, if not already, is going to be going in the same direction. Nevada, we're going to be going in the same direction. So the purpose for this, of course, program, and the purpose for this part of this instance in my broadcast is to just, of course, encourage young people to venture off out into a second language. And do it as soon as you can. I know I'll be asking my son to do that. If he's not going to learn at home from his family, especially his mom, then we're going to create an opportunity out there where he can learn a second language. Of course, in my case, it's probably going to be Spanish, but telling the kids to venture off. And one thing we also want to tell the population that's a predominantly English-speaking population, when you encounter people who speak another language, and of course we're talking predominantly the ones that are Hispanic, that's an advantage. You should want those people around you. It's just going to help you be smarter. It's going to help you, of course, be more open to people of a different language or of a different sect. and it's creating an environment where you're creating smarter people. You're creating more diverse people. You're creating a more diverse population of Americans. And diversity is what this country's been made on since day one. It's never been a country of just one people. I know, like a lot of European people of European ancestry would like to think so, but it's not. This country is a melting pot. It's always been a melting pot. So European Americans and Hispanic Americans and African Americans, we're all in this boat together, and it's important that we diversify ourselves. And speaking a second language is only going to give you way more opportunities going down the road. One stat that I read recently also said that by 2035, 80% of the population is going to be bilingual. You want to be one of those people. You don't want to be one of those people. You want to be one of the 80%. You want to be one of the 80%, one of the 80% of people that can be bilingual, that can speak both Spanish and English. And if Spanish is not something that you personally want to do, there are hundreds of languages on this planet, maybe a dozen that are spoken fluently by a lot of people. We're talking about French, we're talking about Dutch, we're talking about Mandarin, countless African languages we can talk about. So go out there, learn something. Europe has already done this. It's been in the making in Europe for decades now, where if you're in school, if you're in England, then you have to outsource for a second and third language. If you're in Belgium, you have to outsource for a second and third language, which is predominantly and usually English and something else. So it's just where the world is going, and we hope you continue to move along with the rest of the population. It's been a pleasure having you guys today. I'm going to be trying to bring you back more content here on the Immigrant Podcast. We appreciate your time today. Take it easy.